I'm Father Gary Lazzaroni, the other Father Gary. I had the great privilege of being with Father Jim in Jesus Caritas for the last 17 and a half years, which was only half of the time that Father Jim was in that Jesus Caritas group. Jesus Caritas is a priest fraternity, prayer, spiritual support group. We would meet once a month. We would gather, in the beginning, we would gather at each other's rectories, whoever the host was. The last 10 years or so, we would always come here to Olympia. In the beginning, 10 years ago or so, it was because it was a little more convenient, and then the last 7 years, it was just way easier for Father Jim. I also had the great privilege of being one of the 19 parochial vicars here at St. Michael's, and so Thank you. That was a great gift in my life. Nancy mentioned the confession, and Bishop Tyson, the last ministry that Jim performed here, he taught me how to love the sacrament of reconciliation. He really did. As a new priest, I was so intimidated by celebrating that sacrament. Who was I to hear other people's sins as a sinner myself? And Jim said, that's why. You can bring that healing, that reconciliation, because you know your own brokenness. It was a great gift to be here at St. Michael's. It was an enormous gift to spend those 17 and a half years with Father Jim, to be touched by his humanness, and it was a humanness that really fed his great love of God, his focus on Jesus being the center of everything in his life came through loud and clear in our Jesus Caritas group. We do what's called a review of life each time that we gather, and each of us takes as much time as we need, and sometimes it's 10 or 15 minutes, and sometimes it's an hour and a half. And in all of those times, Father Jim was able to share himself in a very authentic way that over and over again made it clear, and we just talked about this at Jesus Caritas on Monday, made it clear that Jesus Christ was at the center of his life and was at the center of everything that was important to him. It fed everything in him. You know that. What emerged from that love of Jesus was love of the people that Jesus put in his life. And most especially you, the people here. It was clear every time we gathered, whether he was praising what was happening here at St. Michael's, or, well, no, he would never complain, ever, but he loved you so much. What really drove him in that relationship with Jesus was to be so rooted in gratitude. That's why he could always say that he was blessed, because he lived out of a place of gratitude all the time. And he knew how to do that theoretically That's what stewardship is grounded in, was living a life of gratitude. But he did it in his life, as we've heard from Nancy and from Bishop Tyson. That really was where he operated from. It was his foundation, that place of gratitude. I am deeply grateful for Father Jim touching my life. We navigated that time that I was here at St. Michael's that could have been a little uncomfortable, being both my pastor, think about this, guys, my pastor, but also in my Jesus Caritas group. So who am I going to complain to about my pastor? But I never had any complaints. Just let me conclude with a prayer inspired by one of our spiritual support, Brother Charles de Foucault, one of our real, what we see as our patron, really, in Jesus Caritas. And it's a prayer, for those of you might be familiar with this, because it was a prayer that was very important to Father Jim. Not only did he pray this prayer every day of his life, but he strove to live it. And so let me just share this with you. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I am ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me and in all your creatures. I wish no more than this, O Lord. Into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart, for I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands without reserve and with boundless confidence, for you are my Father. Amen.